Welcome to another episode of the Urban Wall Street Project. I'm your host, Earl Christian III, of course, and today we have a dynamic show with something very special. And we always want to be innovative here at the Urban Wall Street, and we want to get as many people involved. So now we are using Skype to have a guest. We have a very special guest from Toronto, Canada. She's a kinesiologist and a registered dietitian. She's going to share some healthy tips for eating, how to eat to live and survive, and have a greater overall health. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Miss Fana G. Sebhatu. Miss Sebhatu, are you there?
Hi.
Hi, welcome to the show.
Thank you, thank you. How are you doing, Mr. Christian?
I'm doing very well, thank you, thank you. So I'm very happy to have you here, and I've let my audience know that today's topic is healthy eating, so I'm sure you're going to share some tips. But before we get into that, I want to let the people know who is Miss Fana G. Sebhatu.
Okay, well, Miss Fana Sebhatu, I am a kinesiologist. I went to school here in Canada, in Windsor, Ontario. So kinesiology, what is kinesiology? Basically, it is the scientific study of the human body and its movement. So I went to school for that, and then after school, basically, I worked in rehab, and I was a personal trainer for 3-4 years, and then I decided, well, there was something else that was missing, so I decided to go back to school again to pursue a nutrition.
Okay.
And that's what led me to do my dietetics degree, and here I am trying to combine both of them into this umbrella called health and wellness.
Well, that's a beautiful thing, and health and wellness is very key and critical in today's climate. So
Yes.
I want to get right into it. So I know you sent me some information, and I want my audience to know there's a plethora of information that Ms. Sebhatu has provided. So we're going to go over it, and I'll be jotting down the tips, and she'll be elaborating. But for anyone who's really interested in a full outline of what we talk about, you can simply email info@urbanwallstreet.tv, and I can provide you with that, or our staff. Without further ado, so tips. I know there's a lot of tips to eating healthy, so I want to start with tip number one. Tip number one is?
Well, I guess we'll just kind of go back a little bit, and
Okay.
we're going to go into what is healthy eating.
Right, what is healthy eating? Thank you. What is healthy eating?
Well, people just, whenever they hear healthy eating, they just automatically assume you're supposed to follow a strict diet, and it's not. Healthy eating is not about following a strict nutrition philosophies or staying unrealistically thin, or, just depriving yourself of foods you love. It's basically about keeping yourself healthy, feeling great, having a lot more energy. And you do that by learning how to eat smart.
Right.
And what is this learning how to eat smart? It's
Right.
basically what you eat, and not about how you eat.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's basically what healthy eating is. And we're going to go straight into tip number one.
Right.
Set yourself up for success.
Set yourself up for success.
Exactly. And how do we do that? Just simplify. Don't be concerned about counting calories or measuring your portion sizes for now. Think about your diet in terms of color, variety. When you look at your plate, you don't just want to sit there and eat cauliflower and mashed potatoes and chicken. So there's no color in there. Throw, a salad or some broccoli in there. But gradually include a few fresh ingredients. It doesn't have to happen in one day. So basically just simplify, start slow. Eating healthy is not something that's going to happen overnight. I know it didn't happen overnight for me. It happened over many years, and I'm pretty sure you can attest to that as well.
Right, and that's very important, and I like how you said it, set yourself up for success. A lot of people think success from a business perspective, but eating healthy and preparing yourself to eat healthy is a steps to be successful in a healthier lifestyle. So I definitely appreciate it. What do you think is one of the barriers that prevents people from setting themselves up for success when it comes to eating healthy?
People always tend to set short-term unrealistic goals. There's an event coming up. Oh, I want to lose the 10 pounds for this wedding. Well, you lose the 10 pounds and it does come right back. So the best thing to do is just start slow and make changes over time.
Okay.
like I said before, make small steps. Like today, let's just say you're going to add a salad, and then maybe tomorrow you're going to switch from margarine to or shortening to olive oil when you're cooking. So these are small steps that you take, and then you progress to adding more ingredients or varying your recipes when you're changing your diet.
Okay. All right. So very good. So now your second tip. What would be the second tip? So now I've set myself up for success. I'm looking at what's on my plate. So now what's the next step I should take?
Well, I always say this tip is you have to think of water and exercise as food groups in your diet. I mean, we all need water. Water helps us flush our system of waste products and toxins that are constantly built up. A lot of us don't know. Average day, our urine output is about 6 cups a day. So that's about 1.5 liters. And then you lose another liter through, breathing, sweating, and then another 20% from our fluid intake. So all this combined, we all want to know, how much water do I really have to drink? Now, we're used to this 8 or 9 cups. Does that make sense to you? Not really, because it's different. My diet is completely different from your diet. There could be days where, you don't eat anything, so to drink 8 or 9 cups a day, that can deplete your electrolytes. So the general rule is if you drink enough fluid, so you're rarely thirsty, and you produce about 6 cups of urine, and yes, you have to also look at your urine sometimes, and if it's colorless or slightly yellow, then you're pretty much hydrated. So it's a good gauge for water intake.
Okay, so think of water and exercise as food groups. Definitely never thought about that, and I exercise regularly, so now I know I'm adding something else to my food group through osmosis. It's a beautiful thing. So now, tip number 3.
We're just gonna exercise. The new guidelines that the CDC just came up with this year. They're recommending that exercise, you need about 150 minutes of moderate intense aerobic activity.
Okay.
So, and then you also need 2 or more days a week of muscle strengthening activities, and that should include all your major muscles. Now, what is moderate intense activity? Moderate intense aerobic activity? Basically, you're working hard enough to raise your heart rate and break a sweat, walking fast, doing aerobics, riding a bike, And then if you want to take it a step higher and go to the vigorous, intense aerobic activity, means basically you're breathing hard enough that it's going to be hard for you to talk. So that's, you jogging, swimming laps, riding your bike over hill.
Okay. Fine. So now I see we're up on tip number 3, and I'm looking at, it's not just what you eat, but how you eat it.
Exactly.
And that's critical. People say, what do you mean, how do you eat it? Let's break that down.
Okay. Well, number 1, we need to take time to chew our food and enjoy our food. Do we ever do that? No. We're constantly running from one job to the next. Deadline, meeting. We never have time to eat. So, most important thing is you need to chew your food slowly. Savor every bite for better digestion. What we don't know is technically it takes about 20 minutes from the time you start eating for your brain to send out signals of fullness. So let's slow things down and enjoy it. So, and the longer it takes you to eat, you feel full, and then that translates into eating less. So that can also mean weight loss.
Now, I know you also said you should not, I'm not sure it's another tip, but you shouldn't eat to get full. You should stop before you feel yourself getting too full, correct?
Yes, listen to your body. If you have to loosen up your hands, then I think you've eaten a little much. So just when you get that first signal saying, ooh, I think I'm getting a little full, stop eating.
Okay. Excellent. All right, so now, tip number 4.
Tip number 4,
fill up on colorful fruits and vegetables.
Yes, everybody's favorite food group.
Yes.
Fruits and vegetables.
Right.
Not the American diet, unfortunately. Um, exactly what it says. You need to focus on eating the brighter, the deeper colored fruits and vegetables that contain the higher concentrations of vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. And it's these antioxidants that help prevent the free radicals, and it's the free radicals that cause disease, cancer. So what we need to do is we need to slow the chain reaction of these free radicals. How do we do this? Number one, including greens in our diet.
Yes.
Any type of green. If you don't like broccoli, maybe lettuce. Any type of lettuce is fine. It's just choose a green vegetable that you enjoy. Why is green very, very important? Well, it provides us with calcium. We need calcium for our bones, magnesium, circulation, iron, especially for women. We're known to be anemic, potassium, zinc, and all your vitamins A, C, and K. So they help strengthen our blood and our respiratory system.
Excellent. Okay, great.
Exactly.
So I like that. So, and I love vegetables and definitely fruits. So I should be doing the thing. My people out at home, definitely vegetables, fruits. We all like fruits, maybe not vegetables, but are very important to our diet and our overall health. So tip number 5. Eat more healthy carbs and whole grains. And that's very important because a lot of people, when they talk about working out, exercising, don't eat carbs, eliminate carbs from your diet. And obviously we don't want to do that completely, correct?
Exactly. Well, healthy carbs. What do our healthy carbs and whole grains provide us? Fiber. So what do we need fiber for? Well, we need fiber for good colon health. Very, very important. I guess we'll go into like the different disease states at a different conversation, but what is considered healthy carbs? Basically, healthy carbs or whole grains are carbohydrates that are digested slowly, meaning they help you feel full longer. So why is that important? It keeps your blood sugar and your insulin levels stable. And why is that important? Well, if you're full longer, you won't be as hungry, right?
Right.
Prevents overeating. Now, the unhealthy carbs, such as your white flour, your white sugar, white rice, they've all been stripped of the bran, the fiber, and the nutrients. So they digest quickly, and it causes that spike in that blood sugar and your energy. So 1 minute you're really, really full, the next hour you're back to being hungry again. And what happens? You eat again, and it's just this constant cycle, right? So over time, our body tends to give up, and it can lead to diabetes and other diseases. So really, really important.
Okay, very good.
How do you know that you're eating a whole grain product or anything like that? We'll just really plain and simple. When you are at the grocery store and you pick up this loaf of bread, turn it around, and there's an ingredient list, usually either in the front or the back of the loaf of bread.
Right.
Be aware of the words that say stone ground, multigrain, 100% wheat or bran. This does not mean this product is whole grain. So these are very deceptive. You want to look out for words that say whole grain, 100% whole wheat at the beginning of the ingredient list.
Okay.
So healthy carbs.
And I know another thing. Okay, so very good. So I like that tip. And I know I always look at that because sometimes you look on the back of the ingredients and it'll say no sugar, but you'll see sucralose and fructose. And I've learned that all those are other deceptors. I'm thinking we're going to see that in another tip. So I don't want to put the horse before the carriage. So the next tip is tip number 6. Enjoy healthy fats and avoid unhealthy fats. No, I really like that because people are like, what's a healthy fat as opposed to an unhealthy fat?
Well, people don't realize that fats should actually make up about 30% of your diet. That's a pretty high number, so you know that they're really important. Now, what do we need fat for? Well, you need it to nourish your brain, your heart, and your cells, as well as your hair, skin, and nails.
Wow.
Women, really, really important. Now, the foods that are rich in this certain omega-3 fats, they're called the EPA and the DHA. There's a longer chemical name, but we'll just stick to the EPA and DHA. Are very, very important because they can help reduce cardiovascular disease, improve your mood, and even help prevent dementia. So really, really important. Now, what type of fats are the ones that are particularly important? Monounsaturated fats, and you get those from plant oils like canola oil, we're all familiar with, peanut oil, olive oil, avocado, nuts, almonds, hazelnuts, and seeds like sunflower seeds. Everybody likes to snack on sunflower seeds, so it's your good fats, the monounsaturated fat. Now, the polyunsaturated fats, and these are the ones that include this omega-3 and omega-6 fats, are found in your fatty fishes such as salmon, mackerel, anchovies, sardines, and your cold water fish supplements for those of us who don't like to eat fish, and your flaxseed oils, walnuts, and so forth. Now, the fats that you do want to reduce from your diet are your saturated fats, which come from meat. Now, I'm not saying don't eat meat, just be careful of the red meat that you do eat. Trim the fat from the meat, and your dairy products, your whole dairy products. So just eat in moderation, basically. But most importantly, the trans fat are the ones that we need to stay away from. Okay. So where do we find these horrible, I should say not so good trans fats? Shortening, margarine, crackers, cookies, fried foods, your baked goods. Bottom line, the processed foods. So anything that says partially hydrogenated vegetable oil, you want to stay away from.
Okay, very good. So now that was 6. Now we're going into tip 7. So enjoy healthy fats. It's good to know the differences. And like I said, my viewers, if you're interested in much more elaborate, detailed information, we can always email you that. So you just reach out to us at the end of the show. But I want to go into now tip number 7, which is put protein in perspective. A lot of time we think protein, but it's very important that you are doing it, adding it to your diet, I should say, the appropriate way. So tip 7.
Exactly. Well, put protein in perspective, which we know that us Americans don't have a problem getting enough protein in our diet. What do we need protein for? Protein is the essential building blocks for growth and energy. Cells, tissues, organs, really, really important. But you need to incorporate different types of protein. It doesn't necessarily have to be from the meat, the chicken. Beans, nuts, you can also get it from soy products. So just vary your types of protein. You want to stay away from, frying your meat and stuff like that. And buy meat that is basically free of hormones and antibiotics.
Okay, very good, very good. Okay, so definitely I like that, putting protein in perspective, very important. So now tip number 8, add calcium for strong bones. Now we've all known since we've been children, milk does the body good, strong bones, but it's very important to understand why calcium needs to be a part of your diet.
Yeah, well, you do need calcium to stay strong and healthy. Especially women during our, menstruation years, childbearing years, really, really important to have strong and healthy bones. The recommended calcium levels are 1,000 milligrams a day. And I'm pretty sure, some, but most of us, if we do eat cheese, dairy, drink milk, we do get that. It's about 2 to 3 servings a day. But if you are over the age of 50, the high risk of osteoporosis, and as your bone density decreases as you age, you need to increase your calcium intake to about 1,200 milligrams. And whether you take your calcium supplements or through food, you can achieve that. But again, it's always good to ask your doctor if you do have any pertaining diseases or dietary restrictions for the recommended allowance for you. Where can you get dairy from? Well, we all know you can't yogurt, milk, cheese, but you can also get an abundance of calcium from your vegetables. Exactly. Leafy greens. Did you know that your leafy greens are one of the highest and the richest source of calcium?
I didn't know that.
Exactly. Mustard greens, collard greens, kale, lettuce, broccoli, and the list goes on.
And I like actually all those greens. I actually grew up eating. My mother definitely used to cook kale, and it was saltier than spinach, but I loved it. Mustard greens, so that's not gonna be hard for me to do. So I'm gonna get some calcium on the regular. I love broccoli too, especially shrimp and broccoli. So, but I'm not gonna digress. So healthy eating is a beautiful situation. We're going. We have a few more tips. So now we're up to tip number 8, I believe.
Number 9.
Oh, I'm sorry, number 9. Thank you. And tip number 9 is limit sugar and salt. Very, very important. I don't even add salt to my food, outside of whatever it was cooked with. And sugar, my sugar intake is very light too. But let's talk about why it's important to limit your sugar and salt intake, I assume.
Okay, well, we all know sugar causes up and down health issues and weight problems. Um, Basically, I mean, the solution is reduce the amount of candy, cakes, desserts. It's really easy. Um, a 12-ounce soda contains about 10 teaspoons of sugar in it.
Wow.
It's a lot of, that beyond exceeds the recommended limit. Another option would be try some sparkling water with lemon or a splash of fruit juice, just to get you away from your pop drinking. I know it's hard, or eat some naturally sweetened fruit or peppers, just to get you started slowly but surely.
So let me ask you, so when I see kids and they're drinking a 16-ounce soda, a bag of chips, and some candy and maybe a donut or whatever, they're just, in that one setting, consuming an inordinate number of amount of sugar, I should say.
Yeah, sometimes some children consume their pretty much their weekly consumption of sugar in one day.
Wow.
Exactly.
Oh, that's
So
very, very important.
that's why the rise of obesity these days is significantly high. But the most important thing is, we need to know what sugar is and how do we find it. Food labels. No, you need to know that sugar is often disguised using such terms like cane sugar, maple syrup, honey, molasses, brown syrup. Now, if the first 4 or 5 ingredients mention sugar, honey, molasses, cane sugar, dextrose, fructose, glucose, would this be a high sugar content food? Yes. Would I recommend you perhaps trying something else? Yes. So just pay attention to the ingredient list. Now, salt, oh boy. The most recent stat that was just released from the Center of Disease Control, the CDC, stated that the average daily sodium intake for all adults is about 3,500 milligrams per day. Mm-hmm. What is the recommended amount? 1,500. So have we exceeded that? Yes. Too much salt, too much salt. We eat way too much salt in our diet.
Wow.
Exactly. Go ahead.
So I was going to say, so if we consume, it's 3,500, and it should only be 1,500. That's almost double in a day. So by the end of the week, we're 3 weeks in with what we should be consuming in 3 weeks, and we've done it in a week. So that right there in and of itself is, I'm sure, a major contributor to diseases and high blood pressure and weight gain and all those things. Is that correct?
Exactly. So you want to limit your sodium intake to 1,500 to 2,300 milligrams a day, which is basically equivalent to a teaspoon of salt.
And that sodium is very important because I remember my aunt who used to be with us, and she had to have a low sodium diet. So my mother would buy these certain little, the little banquet servers out of the grocery store because they wasn't too expensive, or just short, single meals. And then once we realized to pay attention, she looked at the sodium. And the sodium levels were incredible. So very important to monitor the sodium intake as well. And then, of course, last but not least, of course, tip number 10, plan quick and easy meals ahead.
Healthy eating basically starts with great planning. Try the internet, getting together with some friends, try some quick and easy recipes. It does not mean that you have to try something new every single day. Maybe one new recipe a week try something new, and then from then on, it will change. When you're shopping at the grocery store, what the most important thing is, people always shop in the aisles. Nobody shops the perimeter of the grocery store, and that's where our fresh fruits and vegetables, fish, poultry, whole grain breads are.
Okay.
Exactly.
Excellent. Well, listen, that was an amazing show. I know we could continue talking. Unfortunately, we're going to do this month. You're going to be our resident nutritionist, so you can help us eat healthy. I've enjoyed this. My audience at home, I want to thank Ms. Sebhatu for being a part of the show and contributing her knowledge and helping us be healthier and wiser individuals with our eating practices. My individuals at home, as always, the Urban Wall Street Project wants to bring you the best and the brightest. We want you to be financially astute. We want you to be aware. We want you to be healthy too, because what's the point of becoming financially astute and having all the wealth that you want now, and then your health deteriorates? So remember, health and wealth go hand in hand. As I always say, be mindful, be prosperous, keep your head up, and now eat healthy, eat to live, don't live to eat. Until next time, take care.
Yo, what's good? It's your boy Cancun. If you're trying to get your mind right, you know what I'm saying, get that thorough info on what's really popping, check out urbanwallstreet.tv. You got everything you need right here.
Hi, I'm Karen Nethersole, CEO of Full Circle New York. Are you an aspiring business professional? If so, check out urbanwallstreet.tv.